So guys, welcome to and one more very interesting session on C programming language. So in today's session, I'll explain you how to add unique records in a student database file using files concept in C language. So like instead of working with student database, I'll prefer working with employee database. So I'll just change this to employee database. Okay. So to work with this programming concept, you need to have knowledge on basic concepts of C programming language, as well as you should have knowledge of files concept also. You should have knowledge of files also, because the concept what I'm going to explain you, that is at advanced level in files concepts. So to explain this topic, I'm going to show you the live programming. I'm going to show you the live programming using C-free IDE. So I'll start with the C-free IDE. So guys, this is C-free IDE, and you can see I've created two files. One is emp_add_unique.c. This is one file. And second one is emp_display.c. So the whole concept will contain totally two files. One file will store data into the database, and second file will display data from the database. So let me explain you that till now, if you have worked with C programming language, or if you have worked with other concepts like Java, C++, Python, then let me tell you clearly that what you have learned actually. So you might have written group of instructions. Is it clear? And we call it as a program. And you are providing input to this program using an input device, and that is nothing but your keyboard. And the program is displaying the result on an output device, and that is nothing but your screen. That's nothing but your monitor. But here in this case, your data is not stored permanently anywhere. The data is not available for future. The data is not available for tomorrow. So if you want to store the data permanently, if you want to make the data available for future, what you have to do is you have to store that particular data inside a database in the form of files. So this is what I'm going to explain you in today's session, how to store data in files. Okay. So this is your hard disk, and in hard disk, we are going to create a file. Inside the file, the data is stored permanently. Okay. So let's move on to C-free IDE. So if you want to store an employee record, we have to create a structure, because group of data, you have to represent it as a one single unit. So for that, I'm creating structure. So here you can create a structure with the name employee, and here I'm going to take three data members. One is employee ID. Second one is character name of 20. This is nothing but the employee name. I'll say E name. And third one is like eSal. That's nothing but employee salary. So that eSal variable I'm taking as a float type. So ID, name, and salary. We have taken three data members. You can increase the number of data members also as per your requirement. You can take like address, mobile number, mail ID, any number of data members you can take it. Now here I'm creating one structure variable with the name E. You can take any structure variable name. And here, first I'll explain you very basic simple program which is going to store data into the employee database, and I'll show you how you can display the data. Once if the program is done, then I will convert this particular program into an advanced level program which maintains unique records in the employee database file. So if you want to store data into the file, then you have to create a variable with the name file pointer FP, which is a file type. So file is a ready-made structure available in C language, and star FP is the file pointer. And here there is a function called fopen, which is going to open the file. So here I'll create a file with the name employee.dat is the file name I'm giving. Employee.dat is the file name, indicates employee data file. And fopen function takes two parameters. One is the name of the file, and second one is the mode using which you want to open it. So I want to keep on adding records into the employee file. So I call it as a append mode. And this is the binary files concept. So I say AB. Okay. And sometimes we want to read data from this file also. So there is one more mode called plus. Plus will open the file in dual mode, means it will open in append mode, but at the same time it will allow you to read data from the file also. That's why I'm opening the file in AB plus mode. Append in binary means A for append mode, B indicates binary file, plus indicates dual mode. And whenever the fopen function is successful in opening the file, it will return an address that we call the pointer where the file is created in the hard disk, and that pointer is assigned to a pointer variable, which is the file type, that is FP. So guys, I'm not going at very basic level of this concept because I expect you to have some basic knowledge in C programming as well as basic files concept. Okay. Now I'll say printf enter employee ID. I'm asking the user to enter the employee ID, and that employee ID I'm reading it by using scanf ampersand of e dot emp ID. Employee ID is taken. Now I'll say printf enter employee name. I'm reading name of the employee, and I'll say scanf percentage s comma ampersand of e dot e name, and then I'm reading employee salary. I'll say enter employee salary. So all the three data items I'm reading. Okay, scan of percentage f comma ampersand of e dot e cell. So for your readability, I'll just give one line gap so that it will be easy for you. So just try to understand what I'm doing here. I'm creating employee structure, then creating one file pointer variable, and I'm opening the file, reading input from the user. Now once we have done with this, what I'll do is I'll store data into the file. So there is a function called fwrite. Fwrite is a function to store data into the file. Fwrite, I'll say ampersand of e. That's nothing but e is the variable which is holding the employee data. So right from the base address of the variable e, size of e, that's nothing but whatever the size the e variable is having, means employee ID 4 bytes, name 20 bytes, salary 4 bytes. So 20 plus 4, 24 plus 4, 28. So totally right from the base address 28 bytes, one time will be written into this file pointer variable. Once you have done with this, then you can close the file, close FP, and you can display a message saying that employee record is successfully saved. Okay. So now let me run this program and check whether the record is getting stored successfully or not. So I'll run this program, and it's asking enter employee ID. I'll say 101. Then it says enter employee name. I'll say Raj. Salary, I'll say 9,800. And we are getting a message like employee record is successfully saved. Now we have to confirm whether really the data is stored permanently into the database or not. So if you want to know where these files are stored, then on the top address bar, you can see C drive, sorry, E drive, C underscore examples, binary files, and we have this file. So you can go to E drive backslash C underscore examples. And inside this, you'll find one folder with the name binary files. And here you can see employee.dat. There is one file created. So what you can do is you can just open and check, but you can't see anything. You can't see anything here because binary files are non-readable files. So if you want to read data from the file, you have to write one more program. Okay. So emp display.c is the program which I've created. Now what I'll do is I'll show you how we can display the records from the employee file. So for that, what you have to do is you have to take the same structure as it is. So I'll just do copy paste instead of typing. I want to save time. So I'll take the same structure. Now I'll declare one file pointer as it is. And then I'll say fp equals to fopen employee.dat is the employee file. And this time the mode is read mode. So I'll say RB, means read in binary mode. Okay. And see, you'll be keep on storing so many records into the employee.dat file, and there will be more than one record, obviously. So what you have to do is you have to use while loop. You have to use while loop for fetching data. Okay. And to read data from employee.dat file, we have a function called fread. We have a function called fread. And here you have to say that you want to read data into at the address of E variable. How many records? Totally 28 bytes. So you can say size of E. How many times you want to read? One time. From which file pointer you have to read? You have to read from the file pointer FP. So you have to keep on reading this data till the fread function returns true. So that's why I'm comparing with one. One indicates true. So if the fread function is successful in reading data from this file pointer, okay, then what we'll do is we'll display that particular data into the screen. So I'll say %d, %f, and hyphen, so %d for ID, %s for the name, and %f for the salary. So I'll say e dot employee ID, comma, e dot ename, comma, e dot employee salary. All the records I'm displaying. Okay, and now we can run this program and see if the records are getting displayed or not. And guys, we can see that the records are getting displayed, but there is a problem. Can you observe that already this file has some data like 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106. And when I added one more record like 101, it has stored that record. Again, I'll show you the program recently we have written for storing data into the employee file. I'll run this program once again. And I'll say 102, and I'll say hurry, and I'll say salary is like 7,000. It says record is successfully saved. Now you open this display program, okay, and you run this program. And you'll see 102 record is saved with the name Sunil, and it is also saved with the name Hari. But I don't want to duplicate the employee ID. I don't want to duplicate the employee ID. I want to maintain the unique records. That's what the objective is all about. So guys, just type in the chat box if you got clarity up to now. And if anyone is watching this particular session on YouTube, then you just let me know in the comments that have you understood this particular concept or not. And if you are a complete fresher, if you are a complete beginner, then it will be very difficult for you to understand this level of content. Okay, if you have some basic knowledge, then you'll definitely understand. So guys, just type in the chat box if you are ready to work with the next level of the program, which is bit difficult, which is bit complex, but I'll explain you everything in detail, line by line. So just type ready if you are ready. Just type in the chat box that ready, because in this session now I'll explain you that how to maintain that uniqueness. How to maintain that uniqueness means once if the record is stored with one particular ID, I won't store the same data once again. And for that, we have to write a very complex logic for this particular printf and scanf statements. For these two lines, we need to write some complex logic. So what I'll do is, first, I'll delete this existing file, employee.dat. Okay, so you can observe, select that file and click on delete button. The data is deleted. That employee.dat file is deleted. Now I'll create a fresh file where I'll maintain only the unique records. So what you have to do is, you have to keep this particular 2 lines of code inside a logical loop, and logical loops are written by using while one. You have to keep this inside a logical loop. I'll say while one. This is known as logical loop. And you should not allow the control to go out of this logical loop unless and until you won't get the required data. That's the thing, but the unique record into this EMP ID variable. So start with while one, and you declare one temporary variable. I'll say integer temp ID. Temp ID. You declare one temporary variable with the name temp ID. And whenever you read employee ID, don't read into this variable directly, like structure variable directly. You read inside this temp ID variable. Okay, fine, up to now clear. You read data into this temp ID variable. After reading data into temp ID variable, now you have to check whether this particular record is available in the existing database or not. So that file opening logic is there now. You write within the loop. You write within the loop here. Okay, and now what I'll do is, I'll start one while loop, and I'll read each and every record from that employee.dat file, and I'll compare the data which is already stored into the database with the temp ID. If the matching record is found, I'll display an error message and I'll stop it. And if it is not found, then only I'll continue with the program. So I'll say while fread ampersand of e comma size of e 1 comma fp equal to 1, means till the fread function returns true, means till end of the database I have to keep on reading data. And remember, this while one is known as outer loop and this while is known as inner loop. Now I'll say if temp ID is equal to e dot emp ID, means each and every record in the employee.dat file will be compared with the temp ID. If it is matching, then what I'll do is, I'll display one message saying that employee ID is already existing. Okay, and then I'll say break. Employee ID is already existing, then I'll say break. So what happens, the control will go to the outer loop, and it will again ask enter employee ID. So every time you should start checking this data from the beginning of the file. So what you have to do is, you have to close the file. You have to close the file. So when you close the file, and then when you reopen, the control will be kept at the beginning of the file. So because you have to start checking each and every record. So that's why I have written the close function here, and open function here. And if the record is found, you're not continuing with the program. You're asking the user again to enter the employee ID. But the ID what you are entering, if it is not there in the database, then you have to save it. So for that purpose, what you have to do is, you have to take one character variable saying found equals to n. Now what you can do is, if the employee record is found, then you can say simply found equals to y, change the status of the found to y, and then you break it. And out of the loop, come out of this while loop. After coming out of this while loop, see here, this is the end of while, end of inner while. After coming out of this inner while, you have to check if the found is equal to n. Means if the found status remains n, that's nothing but the ID is not available in the database, then you can say e dot emp id equals to temp id, and then you can say break. Means you are coming out of the outer while loop. You are coming out of the outer while loop. And after that, it will ask about the name and salary, and the program will keep on executing. So let me run this. If there is any error, we'll just try to rectify it. So I'll say 101, and I'll say Ravi as the name. Salary is 9,000. Record is saved successfully. Again, I'll run this program. This time I'll say 102, Hari, and 9,800 is the salary. It says record is saved successfully. Now we have added 2 records. Go to employee display program, which I have already written earlier. Okay, and I'll run this, and I'll see, yes, I got successfully 2 records. Up to now, it's okay. Now what you do is, you try to store the same employee ID once again. I'll say 101. Okay, and now see what happens. It is saying employee ID is already existing. Enter employee ID. I'll say 102. It's saying employee ID is already existing. Enter employee ID. But when I say employee ID 103, then it should accept it. It should accept it 103. But here there is a problem. So when I enter 103, it should continue with the name. So I'll just close this, and I'll see where the problem is. The problem here is, the character found variable you have written outside the loop. You have to write it within the loop, because every time you have to change the status of the found variable to n whenever it starts. Now the program will work fine. I'll say 101. It's saying employee ID is already existing. I'll say 102. It says already existing. I'll say 103. Now you see. Now it's asking about employee name, Hari, and salary, 9,800. Okay. Here what you can do is, employee is already existing, and you can just keep /n here, so that enter employee ID, that statement you will get it in new line. So I'll say 103. You can observe employee ID is already existing, and it's saying enter employee ID. So I'll say 104. Then it will ask for name, Jack, and I'll say 4,500. Record is already record is saved. Now what you can do is, you can just go to this employee display, and you can run this program, and you can check. See here, 101, 2, 3, 4. 4 records are there. Again, you just try to add whether it is taking this 4 records or not. Once you can check. So I'll say 101, it's not taking. 102, it's not allowing. 103, it's not allowing. 104, it's not allowing. 105, I'll say Tarun, and I'll say 8,700, and it says data is successfully stored into the database. So guys, this is how we maintain data uniquely into the database. And this is one of the very, very important as well as interesting concept in C programming language, files concept. Thank you so much guys for attending this wonderful session.